welcome back to Maypole Farm, and I've been busy betwixt videos, and actually this was one hay contract, so much more generous than the first one that we did. These are smaller bales. I made them as 180 centimeter bales, so it's a little bit less in them, but we got a lot more. It was a reasonable size field. I'll try to remember in editing to put up on the screen the contracts that I did. I think I did like 3 or 4. I did a baling contract and some cultivating contracts and a mowing contract. The mowing contract paid really well. It was one of the big fields up on the side of the map. I was annoyed that it wasn't a baling contract, but you know, winners, beggars can't be choosers and all that. And we've also been busy. I had an issue that I lost the save game, so I had to go to a save game backup and finish compacting, so the bunker looks a little bit different. Oh, just noticed recording had stopped. Let me check what you've missed and then I'll come back to you again. I had to stop for a dog drink, so you may have missed me leasing this. One moment. Yeah, appears you missed me talking quite a bit, which is very annoying. So having rambled away to myself about which implement I should lease, I went for this one. It's a little bit annoying. I had to stop recording because I needed to. The Broomer needed a drink anyway, and he's very loud. So yeah, I had to. I lost. Annoyingly, I think I said in the last video, I've set up a Google Drive to sync so that I can do things like do contracts between recording videos more easily, and now the worker's not in I'll explain things in a moment, folks. Yeah, but for some reason, rather than syncing the save, it deleted it, so I had to go back to the save game backup, and had to do a bit of the work again. Had to recompact the bunker, and yeah. Anyway, that wasn't a massive problem. And then we have leased this mulcher, and so I'm recording this after the update is live. I don't think it's going to affect too much of what we're doing today, to be honest. Oh, why will the worker not engage? He says, as cannot get the worker to actually work. But yeah, so why is it all going wrong? Anyway, and the other thing I said is we may end up mulching both fields, or it may be worth us mulching both fields. And the plan is to mulch this field and get grass put in it. So quite often when I start doing this, because I'm sat downstairs with the dogs quite often, with how things are currently with life situation, for some reason me starting doing this triggers the dogs wanting to get a drink. I don't know why, but it's really freaking annoying, because as you will have seen or worked out, I can do about a minute, one of the dogs will get up and want a drink, and then I have to stop and things happen. Anyway, the reason this might be slightly shorter, if you're on Discord, you might have seen me chatting this morning. Decided to go back to the gym. Maybe this thing just works really quick. Anyway, decided to go back to the gym yesterday to complement my running training, and managed to screw my back up quite nicely. So won't be doing running training this week, which is really annoying, because running last week didn't go brilliantly, and it kind of rejigged my running training plan a bit to account for that, and was mixing in going back to the gym. And yeah, I'm not, having done a day at work and recorded a Timberborn video, I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to sit here doing this versus going and trying to get more comfortable. So we'll see. But equally, and there was a bit of me that just wasn't going to bother. But I didn't do any recording at the weekend because on Saturday I was exhausted from a combination of work and running and just being really tired. And then on Sunday, because the weather was changing in the UK, I had really bad headaches all day, so didn't get anything done. And then with work and being in the office, yeah. Anyhow, sometimes you've just got to get stuff done, you know, because otherwise this stuff doesn't just magically appear on the internet on its own. So enough whinging, just explaining. So the update is live. There were updates to the game, to precision farming, and to prairies and plains. I think that was all of it. I haven't read the update log in huge amounts of detail. Freaking worker. Apparently there were improvements to the worker. The one that jumped out, thanks to Eagles for pointing them out, actually, was the fact that grass and straw swaths now shouldn't be made out of concrete. But freaking time, they managed to work out how to fix that, I guess. And they fixed some other bits and pieces. There's some new kit being added in as well. To be honest, I wasn't expecting an update, apart from the fact that I kind of was in the fact that Giants announced it yesterday to partners. But do you know what I mean? When they announced it to partners yesterday, I wasn't expecting an update to be coming. Is what I meant. And we got some new stuffs, including a new JCB telehandler, actually. Yeah, 140 grand though, so that's probably a negative from us. So one of the reasons I've been doing contracts is to stock up some funds to hopefully deal with the fact that the little Deutz can't load the feed mixer, and we've got a couple of options now. So great minds, the suggestion of the Fiat 1300, I had installed that already, because I think that could work quite well. I've also installed, and I'm not even sure if it can have a front loader. It might actually be a medium track. You see I've added in the MB track. We'll talk about MB tracks in a moment. Let's quickly, the Steyr, where is it? We'll come back to it when we're not about to get to the end. Let's just stop for a second. Did I enable it? There's a good question. Very good question. Well asked. Maybe I didn't enable it. I might not have actually. I might not have scrolled. I don't think I scrolled down the list far enough. There. I did not. Okay. Well, the other track that I enabled was the new Fiat mod that was released, which was that one. Which does have a front loader option, so possible. Possible. But I quite like the old Fiat option. It's slow. It's very slow. But it's 150 horsepower. Can have a front load. Doesn't have a front 3-point, but we've got Fendt for that. Or there's the old Fendt Favorite 500. A bit of me is going with the school of thought of hold out a little bit, and maybe because we've got food in the trough still, maybe one of them will come up in the sales, which would swing it, obviously. I was a bit keen there. Currently in the sales is a Merlot, but it's 85 grand, and we can't borrow any more cash. That would leave us a bit too cash strapped in my mind. So yeah, I think that would take us just a bit too low on the cash front, unless I do a fair bit more contracting work. But the Fent is like 50 odd, not Fent Fiat, it's like 50 odd, so that wouldn't be too bad. And it would be good for complementing our fleet for field work. So if we just quickly jump in here now. So this guy, you probably recognize it from previous versions of the game, but yeah, for 60 grand with a front loader, would do the job just fine, I think. That's kind of my thinking at the moment, but that would, it would leave us with, after we've brought the front loader, maybe 50 grand in the bank, which is not awesome, but I can keep doing contracts in the background, then maybe we'll be okay. We'll keep making a bit of cash, keep the bank balance ticking over, tricky through the winter, but maybe I can add in Arrow's employment mod, and maybe we can make some cash through that through the winter. Till the cows are producing income, then we've got to just kind of diversify and keep things afloat, basically. So that's what I'm thinking. So the other thing I was thinking is I was pondering adding the cedar unit to the disc harrow that we have, because that can allow us to turn that into something that can plant grass and OSR, which are the two things that we need to plant at the moment, but it's 5 grand. And I kind of thought that probably we could lease something for a lot less than 5 grand. And again, money's tight. Well, it's not, but it is. So, kind of my thought was probably better to lease something, particularly as we are having issues with the odd bit of skipped ground with the mulcher. So, if we can get something that, we might end up going over things anyway with disc harrow. I'm not sure. The idea is that I'm not planning to plough this field yet. I'm I'm going to plough it when I plough the grass in that we're planting as a cover crop. We were going to talk about MB tracks, weren't we? So, I might have mentioned it actually in the last farm sim video, but yeah, lurking in the background of the video from FarmCon was an MB track, and I think most people are taking that as confirmation that Mercedes is going to be DLC number 3. Actually, it is coming back to me now that I did talk about this in the last video, so yeah. But yeah, I've installed the MB track mods. Basically, I've thrown in a bunch of mods that are somewhat appropriate in the hope that in the sales something will come up that's going to do what we want. Why not, eh? Why not? So that's that field mulched. I feel like probably we do want to disc it quickly. Then seed it. Just because of the odd miss bits that we've got, and then we can go with a cheaper seeder maybe. Let's set that up. I'm gonna turn that off and deal with annoying dogs, which is why you've just had a whole load of jump cuts and pauses. I'm sounding slightly stressed. And off we go. Happy voices, happy faces. Yeah, hopefully this freaking worker, well, GPS. Go. Hopefully we can pull this up hell okay. I think the disc needs a service. Something that I might need to sort because that's probably affecting our field working speed, but you know, let's just get the job done. Let's just get the job done. A weird implement. A weird implement. The tractor's slightly better with how I've tweaked the gearbox at least. Not perfect, but it's better. That one I concentrate on reversing. Okay. That'll do. Good enough. Good enough. Yeah, so I was considering giving it another fettle, but I'm worried about doing too much to it and but essentially making it a modern tractor. But I did get a little bit frustrated when I was having to redo stuff and dealing with the slightly crunchy gearbox. you know, it is what it is. We're on a budget. There are going to be compromises. And that's kind of, you know, it's kind of what we've got to deal with, I think. Until we have significantly more cash. Right. It is the nature of the beast. But let's just quickly jump to the bottom. No, there's a Bailey trader. I think that's the trader we had leased, actually. Probably not worth buying yet. We've still got the other trailer leased for harvesting the soybeans, and yeah, don't think it's worth it yet. Does make me ponder gaming, leasing the tractor we want to buy. And buying it cheap off the dealer. A little bit underhanded. A bit unscrupulous of us. We have scruples. On, let's go. Yeah, I was super pleased with that hay contract this time as to how much we got versus last time. It was way more than I expected. Gonna have to get direct seeder, aren't we? I know that's just a lease of direct seeder. I'm just wasting my time here. You don't know. You don't know. I just need to be a bit more accurate with what I'm doing. Might help. That line. Right, I'm going to get this done and then we'll come back, I think. Okay, I have done the headlands and I've also remembered that I need to lime this field and that field. So it probably makes sense to split this job into a couple of videos, unfortunately. I know, not ideal. So what I'm going to do is we're going to finish up the disking, and that's good because my back's just about had enough of sitting in this chair for now. So yeah, we'll finish up the disking, and then next time I will lease a lime spreader. We'll get the liming sorted, then we can you better lower your disc. Get the pH sorted, get these limed, get this field planted with grass, then get the other field mulched, planted with OSR, and then hopefully in November the soybeans will actually be ready to harvest. Have a quick look at the calendar once we get on the next pass and see if that's actually a thing. Suddenly a little bit nervous about that, as to whether that is actually a thing. Feels quite late to be harvesting them, but who knows? Well, some of you probably do, but let's have a quick peek at the old crop calendar. They haven't Oh yeah, we're fine. We're fine. Cool. So, and then that is going to be our grass pasture going forwards, which should mean come springtime or first cut next year, but then good for feed, and potentially many more cows. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't want to expand things too quickly. We will have to be doing probably a fair few contracts to keep the cash coming in and to keep the old bank account in a healthy state. But we'll play it by ear as we go, you know. Yeah. Hopefully in a day or two, my back will be better. It's muscular, so that's good. Muscles heal, I would say relatively quickly, but as I've got older, not so quickly. I am certainly not in my 20s anymore. Definitely something that I have noted in terms of recovery from exercise and things. Even not in my 30s anymore. Been very notable over the last few years that recovering from exercise is much harder. I guess that's part of getting older, isn't it? The body slows down a little bit every year. I shall fight it. We are animals that are meant to be active beasts. We're not meant to be sedentary. So, now, I'm not saying some of the exercise things that I do are healthy, but we're certainly not meant to be sedentary. So, that's us just about done for today. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have enjoyed the video. If you have, click that like button, and I will see you all next time, where hopefully I am slightly less battered and broken. See you next time, folks.